Morning, everybody. We are out here up on the high Cascades and catching the morning sunrise and mist. And I'm super excited because I'm going to show you guys the Fathom today from Eddyline. This is just the flagship touring model from Eddyline. It kind of started everything in their touring line. The Sitka LT, XT, and ST are all kind of derivations of this boat. And even on down through the recreational line, a lot of the DNA of the Fathom makes its way through the whole line. So this is just a great boat to get the feel of what the designer, Tom Dare, kind of was trying to do with this whole family of boats. And behind me, I have Dan from Headwaters Kayak, and we have Seth filming for Eddyline. And so I'm gonna just try to jump in here on some down moments and talk about this boat and what you're gonna feel if you take it out for a paddle. What limits the hull speed of a kayak, a touring kayak displacement hull, is that the faster we go, in a shorter boat, of course, the bow wake gets bigger more quickly. And you've seen this in a motorboat when they accelerate, you see that big bow wake get bigger and the stern kind of squats into the hole. So the longer the boat, the more acute of an angle we can have, and you don't get quite as big a bow wake. And then also, because we have that longer length, the stern falling into that hole that we create from the wake is less likely to happen. So the neat thing about a longer boat like this Fathom is I can keep giving it speed and the bow wake doesn't build up quite as much and I don't hit that wave resistance that slows the boat down. So I can give this boat more power and it keeps going. The Fathom is a 16'6" boat, but it's a lot of waterline length and it has a very consistent, if we were to do little guillotine cuts in this boat and measure the surface area of what those cuts were, it's a very consistent increase in volume or surface area of those cuts. They call it the Prismatic Coefficient, and you can look that up. And a boat that, like a British style boat, a lot of the volume is around the paddler, but then the ends are very sharp and narrow. And that's really great for real rough conditions where you want most of the volume around your paddler, but slicey ends. Fathom is a little more of like a San Juan's Island, lake, open water touring boat. And so you have a more consistent growth of that prismatic curve, more of a bell curve shape. And what that means is when I accelerate more, we don't have a big buildup of bow wake in any given area. So you'll read like the Fathom's not the most nimble and playful of boats. I think it does just fine, especially put on edge. But it's actually a really fast boat for being 16'6". In fact, the wave drag resistance curve was charted by Sea Kayak magazine a bunch of years ago, and the Fathom was way out on the right for being able to accelerate the boat without building up wave resistance. Actually near where some boats that are 17 and 18 feet long are, including Eddyline's old Falcon 18. And I've done just kind of some subjective tests of this Fathom versus the old Falcon 18 S18, and just paddling with a buddy at kind of similar workload efforts, and the boats were side by side. So a very efficient boat for 16'6". Just giving you an idea of the fit. I'm 6 feet tall, about 170. I'm wearing some water shoes. Got plenty of extra room here, so I'm a size 10 foot here. So plenty of extra, real high in there. And as far as foot length, you can see that I've got several notches left to go further. All right, so looking at the cockpit here, the Fathom comes standard equipped with Eddyline's back band. And this is built off of the same vertical pillar there with 5 points of height adjustability, so you can adjust the height. You have forward lean adjustment with that strap. And then this is the same pillar that they use for their backrests, like on the Sitka series. So these are interchangeable. The pillar, this plastic pillar with 5-hole adjustments, basically all you do is unscrew that, take off the strap, and you can put in the backrest. So they are interchangeable. I happen to like the back band on this. It just gives me the support I need, but still with the nice movement and doesn't interfere with the skirt. So there are the hip pads, and those are removable if you want a little bit more room, or there's actually some space to shove additional foam back there if you want to bolster them up. The seat pad's really plush. Those screws right there are removable as well, so you can remove this seat pad if you wanted to add further padding underneath it before putting it back on, or just go with some other type of aftermarket gel seat. They do extend past the seat, and that's gonna give you that nice thigh support. It's actually just kind of a stiff plastic nylon underneath there. You have the adjustable positioned infinity seat. I can move forward and back. Right here is about neutral position, so no wind day. That's a nice balanced position, kind of centered between the strut there. Skeg handles on the left side, so I'm a right-hand controlled paddle, so it's nice to be able to adjust and keep my right hand on my paddle still. Well, this is pretty cool. Definitely worth getting up this early to catch this sunrise. You know, I could have done this lake. We're just in a little lake, couple little streams. I could have done it in anything, but with the Fathom, it's effortless glide, and that feeling of just no bow wake, just moving and gliding nicely through the water, easy tracking. I can cruise if I want, but then if I want to pick up the speed to warm up, it's cold this morning, the Fathom just keeps giving it. So really nice paddle out here today, and we're gonna go see what's around the next corner.
Right at me. Right at me, right at me. That's a shot right there.
So the Fathom is 16.6. The first thing you're going to notice when you fit in this is it does have a bit of a higher deck to it, which is just a really comfortable paddling position, kind of more mirrors the position that you might feel in like a surf ski or a performance boat, and allows you to get some nice rotation. And then it tapers down quickly, and then a little bit of upsweep up in the bow for getting through waves dryly. Rubber bumper is actually something that Eddyline uses to terminate this extruded seam line, but it's actually really helpful. You can see here that I've got a few scrapes. A lot of those are for loading. When I'm up vertical on my trailers or on top of a high truck, I can set the boat down onto the ground. Certainly if you're running your buddy's boat or you're coming to shore and you hit a rock or something, they're really helpful to be there, and they are replaceable. The carry handle here retracts back. So a lot of people think that that bungee is doing the work, but it's not. As you pull this rope through, once you pull it through, there's a plastic cross piece right there, and it locks in. So the pressure's on the rope. And then when you let go, it tucks away quietly so you don't hear it banging around, driving down the road or paddling, sneaking up. This little point here is a nice locking point for your boat. Then we have full perimeter lines, bow and stern, nice oval hatch, recessed deck ties. Over here we have a little crisscross pattern for a paddle float so that you can do a assisted paddle reentry. Your paddle can go under there. It's also just a nice little spot to tuck like your bilge pump. We've got a day hatch off to the right hand side. Really nice aggressive combing bite here. And then one of the things I really like to point out is how Eddyline contoured this thigh brace region. So you can see right here that it really does kind of come down and around and really cradle in, nicely padded, and that is going to give you that nice control. It's got that higher foredeck for good room to enter and also to bring your knees up into a high position. Bow and stern lines, there's the bow lines, all the way across, perimeter lines, forward hatch, and then again, that same nice stainless steel loop with retractable handle and rubber bumper up front. Well, we were up here doing a few things, so it was somewhat work, but I just had not let loose on a Fathom in a long time. And I was catching up to the guys over there, they're filming, and just got to put in, you know, a couple hundred strokes at full blast, and this thing just glides and moves. And that's what the Fathom's all about. That's anybody that buys these long boats and you see them carrying them around, you wonder, why do they do that? It's that thrill of just like gliding on calm water like this. Feels effortless, feels like you're flying. So I hope you all are getting out flying in your kayaks and canoes, and we'll see you on the next one.